In my last video, I told you why you shouldn't run a Bitcoin ASIC at home. Now I'm going to tell you why you should.
Let's use the smoking hopium calculator again and see if we can end up with a different result. So first of all, let's look at miner cost. So if we whip across to the Bitmain site, the S21 Pro is coming up. So there's the RRP price and there's also the price after coupon. Now if you shop around, you can find retailers who actually sell it for around this price. So we're going to use this as our base price, $4,423. Now, if we look at the terahash on this unit, it says it does 234 terahash at 3,510 watts. So we'll fill those in for our calculator as well. In the major details pane, we'll keep the Bitcoin price at the current value. Now, over a 4-year period, which is a little bit around the lifetime of a Bitcoin ASIC, the average price that Bitcoin goes up is 4% a month, so we'll use that same value. That's the current mining difficulty. Now, on average, over 2 years, mining difficulty is currently increasing at 4.6%. We won't use the 4-year rate because this is increasing more and more. And at the moment, over the last 6 months, the average transaction fees paid daily is 120.5 Satashis. Under local details, we're going to use an electricity rate of 0.1, so 10 cents per kilowatt hour. We're going to leave it at the default of 98% uptime, so you have some downtime for power cuts or hash boards breaking. We're going to use a higher pull fee of 2.5%, and we're going to assume an inflation rate of 4%. And when we hit calculate, the red line shows us how much Bitcoin we spent on the miner, so 0.07. So we just took the amount of money we're going to spend on the miner and bought Bitcoin. That's how much we had. And it's this blue line or purple line here is showing how much Bitcoin we would earn from the miner. So if you looked at this initially, you would say you'd be crazy to go buy the miner. You're going to end up with substantially less Bitcoin than if you just simply bought it. Now, if we scroll down a bit further, it gives us a table showing how it calculated all the numbers. And a couple of things it's doing is it takes how much electricity you would be using every month, and it assumes you're going to sell that much Bitcoin from what you've mined. So you're selling some Bitcoin every month to cover your running costs. Now I'm going to copy and paste this into Google Sheets, and we're going to make a couple of assumption changes. So one of the changes we're going to make is, rather than selling Bitcoin every month to pay for our electricity, we're actually going to pay for it out of pocket, out of fiat dollars, and then at the end we're going to sell the Bitcoin to recover that cost. Now, when you register for tax, and you do need to register for tax to make this work out much better, you get to claim back your expenses. So I've added some extra columns to this table. So if we sum up all of the money that we spend on our electricity for the 12 months, and then we take, for depreciation, we're going to use straight line, and we're going to use 40% of the miner cost. So if we add the sum of those two together, and then we're going to divide it by 3. That's typical what you'd get in New Zealand. That means you would expect a tax refund of around $1,500 in your first year. We're going to take our tax refund and we're going to use that to buy some more Bitcoin. 12 months later, in our second year, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to claim back our running costs, which is electricity plus depreciation. Because Bitcoin's gone up in price in this projection, we are going to get less Bitcoin, but nonetheless, we're going to take that Bitcoin and that tax refund and buy it. And year 36, we do the same thing. We only can claim 20% depreciation this time, so we get a slightly smaller refund. Smoking hopium assumes a working lifetime of the ASIC of 42 months, so we don't get to make it to the 4th year, but in those last few months we can still claim back the value of the power and use that to also buy Bitcoin. So over the course of that period, we've now earned 0.147 Bitcoin, and we've spent $11,000 on electricity. We're now going to sell some Bitcoin, so we need to sell 0.036 Bitcoin. And after paying for the power, we now have 0.111 Bitcoin left. Compared to our purchase price, which was 0.072 Bitcoin, that means we now have a profit of 0.0388 Bitcoin, or we're now 53% up. So we've actually ended up with 53% more Bitcoin than if we just simply bought the Bitcoin rather than buying the ASIC.
That's a pretty big difference, isn't it? 50% extra Bitcoin. And all you have to do is set yourself up for tax. If you found that interesting, I'm going to leave another video over here that I think you'd like to watch.